Am I audible? The voice and the video, everything good? Everything okay?
Yeah, we can see you, can hear you very clearly.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Hello everyone. And then uh yeah, we will just go dive right away to the teachings.
Thầy
Uh,
xin chào tất cả quý vị đạo hữu ạ. Bây giờ chúng ta sẽ vào bài học luôn ạ.
mhm. 上言觉当作业叫南拉长久巴东当年接上见大业经说一百算南多拉编辑上言就把它说上言觉当作业叫南拉长久巴东当年接上见大业经说一百算南言多拉编辑 Ndu bara jo zangye jenan zogye chonam la janjo bardo nane gyabzo da ye jenzo ye ben sonam ge ndola benjere sanji Ndu bara jo Jimbe Jojimedo Damaeji Nyende Oige Bande Sangye Shindo Mende Wai Dogen Hamai Dai Shin Jembara Jo Idama Guru Rana Mendra La Gamne Yandara Yami. Oh yeah. Mm, yeah. Um, um, okay. Yeah. So we will continue from where we left last week, which is um, the counsel to practice the six perfections of Mahayana, which we already covered. So I will follow up that with sort of a second sort of chapter, which is counsel principally for laymen. So this is for the laity, lay people. Uh, And so the first one starts with showing highlighting the importance of respecting one's parents. Yeah. The Tibetan, verse number 9. Kangla pama, kangla patang mada chujebe, rigde changje loben chebangla. Teda la chu chabar gyurwa tang, lema layang turi gyurwa las. So that's four line. First. Na, in English, the race of one who worships father and mother is in company of Brahma and that of the preceptors. Through revering them, one will win fame and later will attain the higher status. Yeah. So now we are talking about a particular, so here it says a race, right? So race is basically race means a group, a group of people. So so now if you belong to the group, if you belong to the that I mean you belong to the group, you belong to the race that is cared for by one's guru, one's teacher, as well as by uh, the Brahma. Okay, I will explain what Brahma is. So one becomes one belong one. So it's like this. Okay, one gets to belong to a group or belong to a club or belong to a race that is cared for by the Brahma as well as the master. If one worships one's father and one's mother. So more proper English wording would be creed. 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 So, but anyway, so the right now they use the word race. Okay, so it's usually race is something that you are born into, but here it is something that you can cultivate. So if you cultivate the um, tradition of, if you cultivate the custom of, if you cultivate the practice of worshiping your parents, your father and your mother, then you belong to the race that is cared for by that is mentored by, that is cared for by, that is observed, that is under the observation of the Brahma as well as the uh, one's teachers, one's masters. So basically, if you do that means if you worship your parents, okay? I will explain that later. If you do that, then you will be taken care of by both Brahman as well as the teachers. So the reason it is spoken as such is because Brahma, according to the Hindu mythology, Hindu belief system, Brahma is the creator of the universe. So you have God, God with a capital G. So that is the creator of the universe according to Christianity. Similarly, according to a large portion of Hindu mythology, Brahma is the one that created the universe. So everything is because Brahma conceptualized as such. So therefore, we are all the products of Brahma. So in that understanding, Brahma is the father of all fathers, right? Because our fathers were also conceptualized by our grandpa, and the greatest grandpa was conceptualized actually by Brahma. So therefore, Brahma is the great grandfather of all of us. So here it is saying that by worshiping your immediate parents, you're actually worshiping the original parent, which is the Brahma. So you can say from a spiritual point of view, like Brahma is the highest point, and so therefore Brahma is when you worship your immediate parents, your father and mother, you are actually pleasing, delighting the ultimate father, which is Brahma. Because this comes from Indian tradition and the belief, the beliefs, the faith in Brahma is highly prevalent, very popular in India at that time. So this is something that is in people's mouth, people's lips all the time. Whether you are a Buddhist or non-Buddhist, everybody says that like that. So even like many non-Christians, we a lot of the time when we exclaim, "Oh my God," we say like that, even though we don't believe in a God with a capital G, but we say that. So similarly, the belief in that sort of a Brahma basically is God with a capital G, the creator God. So basically, it is saying that the creator God will be happy. Yeah. And your guru or your teacher is the person, is the one that makes you a man. So when I say a man, I'm not talking like man, male, female, that kind of man, but like someone that makes a boy to a man, someone that turns a boy into a man, someone that turns a girl into a woman. So basically, someone that matures, that makes you mature through training, through proper training and teaching, proper care, is the guru. So therefore, through the guru's guidance, one will be able to get rid of suffering. One will be able to get out of samsara. Mm. And also in the Hindu tradition, we came from the Brahma because Brahma is the ultimate creator, and the ultimate goal, according to the Hindu mythology, Hindu sort of belief system, is that one must realize the Brahma. Basically, one becomes, not necessarily become, but one reaches the state of Brahma. One attains the Brahmahood. In Buddhism, we say we become the Buddhahood. So in Hindu belief system, there is something called Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am the Brahma. So basically, at the very end of your spiritual journey, you recognize yourself as none other than the Brahma itself. It's kind of similar to the Buddha nature that we Buddhists talk about, that we have the Buddha nature within us, and then at the ultimate level, we uncover that and we become Buddha. So in Hindu mythology, in Hindu belief system, uh, Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am the Brahma. So that is the ultimate goal. So therefore, uh, by worshiping your parents, Brahma, which is the ultimate goal, as well as your guru, which leads you to the ultimate goal, are both delighted. So basically, it means if wise people, if intelligent people are saying something, usually it means it is the right path, it is the right way. So the creator God, the ultimate goal, as well as your gurus are happy about this thing, that means you are doing the right thing. Now, okay, I will come back to this after. Now I will go back to the father and mother. So why father and mother worship father and mother, right? Why you do that? I'll come to that. So if in the I think it's quite prevalent in Asian sort of culture that we respect our parents. Um, Now, of course, the reason is that whatever we are is because of our parents. They brought us into this world. So, our father and our mother, right? So usually we used to say the bloodline comes from the father, and the um, we usually say the coarser part of the body comes from the bones and etc. comes from the father's side, and the blood and the more liquefied forms comes from the mother. That is what we used to say. Basically, it is with the combination of the two that we were born, and so therefore respecting them, and not only respecting them but putting them on a sort of a pedestal, putting them to a very uh, high level of respect is of utmost important. So once you start respecting your elders, your parents, those who uh, those who brought you into this world, basically respecting your parents means being grateful for their contribution of the result or the product, which is yourself. So basically, you are the product of your parents, and only because of them you are here. Uh, so therefore, respecting your parents means acknowledging the fact that they are the main contributor of you being in this world. Yes, there are many other other cause and conditions, but the main persons people, the main persons who were responsible for bringing you to this world is your father and your mother. And so therefore respecting them is acknowledging them. And by doing so, you acknowledge that, and then you uh, be grateful to them. So that is what it means by worshiping. So worshiping not does not necessarily means make a statue of your father, mother, and put it on the altar. Not necessarily like that. But we do that sometimes. I think in many culture we put up picture, etc. of our ancestors. We have the tradition of ancestor worship. Uh, but the main thing, of course, is to acknowledge, respect, and be grateful and do your best to them while they are alive. Yeah. Um, Parenting, yeah, raising a child is not easy. Okay, first of all, living in this world is not easy for all of any of us. Even if you're single, you have a lot of things to struggle. Then when you are with your partner, husband or wife, more problem, more issue, more things to deal with, right? Then you have another member in the family, then more things to deal with. So whatever issue that you are going through, whatever problem you may have, that also gets multiplied. You need to pay more bill. You have to take care of a lot of more responsibilities, this and that. So parenting is never easy. So first of all, as a human being, we always make mistake. Then as a couple, we make double mistake. then as a family, we make triple mistake, more mistake. So therefore, it's not easy to raise a kid. So therefore, from the child's point of view, from the children's point of view, it's very easy to point at the parents and say, "Oh, my father didn't raise me right. My mother didn't raise me right. He was absent. She was absent. She did this, this, and this." And very easy to say, but it's very important to think. As I said earlier, living as a single person is not easy. Double person, double difficulty. Three person, triple difficulty. Four, quadruple. Five, quintuple. Six, sextuple. So it goes more and more. So therefore, one always have to be grateful for the fact that our parents brought us into this world. Yes, they are not flawless. They have faults. They do make mistake. You also make mistakes since you are born. So many mistakes you make. So your parents also make mistakes, but they're also trying to take care. In spite of all the shortcomings, your parents brought you into this world and were raising you in spite of all the difficulties. So therefore, for all these reasons, you must be respectful. You must be grateful. Respect does not mean put someone on your head. Respect means acknowledge them for what they did, who they are. So that is respecting your parents. Yeah. So therefore, there is something called the most heinous crimes in the Buddhist teachings. So those five most heinous crimes, there are five of them. It starts with killing your father, fratricide, then killing your mother, matricide, killing father, killing mother, uh, and killing an arhat. Then dividing, inciting division within two Dharma group, or basically one Dharma group. When one Dharma group is divided into two, if you are responsible for that, yeah, that is one of them. And then the last one is hurting a Buddha, hurting a Tathagata, and making a Tathagata bleeding a Tathagata. Okay, killing father, fratricide, matricide, uh, then Arahat, killing Arahat, inciting division within a Dharma group, and the last one is um, bleeding a Buddha. So you see, killing father, killing parents is more heinous than bleeding a Tathagata, a Buddha. It's more heinous, more serious than killing an Arhat. Reason, Arhat, Buddha, very important, but the person who is most immediately responsible for bringing you to this world, so giving you this precious human life, is your parents. So for that is the most heinous crime. Number one, number two, number three. On a scale of seriousness, the most serious is to kill your parents. Of course, we are not killing them as in a right away, but when we kill them little by little, small steps, when we make uh, uh, in our day-to-day life, we take actions that kill them bit by bit. When we hurt them, when we hurt their feeling, their emotions, then we are killing them inside, little by little. So therefore, even though we are not killing them as in ending their life right away, but that is how we do that. So therefore, these are things that one should be mindful of as a Dharma practitioner. Not necessarily this is something that we learn from this book, but Nagarjuna is telling his his friend and student, everything. So his best friend, King Gautamaputra, that you should always and always respect your parents. Make mistake, yes, but then always apologize, make amends, and then continue to love and care for your parents. Yeah, that's why the Yeah, the respecting parents. When you respect parents, you are doing the opposite. When you worship the parents, you are doing the opposite of the five heinous crime. Hmm. So, okay. So that's why you must respect your parents, and by doing so, you will get the blessings of both Brahma and the master. So yeah, I was going to come to that. So the reason Nagarjuna is saying that, of course, we are not, it's not. It does not mean that Nagarjuna is that what do you call that? He's not telling us that we should also follow the Brahma and this and that. So basically, the people of the land, India at that time, for even now, mostly are Hindus. The Hindu is a majority religion, faith. So therefore, uh, he is also um, telling the king to keep that in mind as well. And then his the Brahma will be happy. Brahma will You will have the blessing of the Brahma as well as you will have the blessing of your teachers if you worship your parents. So worshiping your parents, because the parents, His Holiness used to say that, Dalai Lama used to say that uh, his mother is his first teacher on compassion. He didn't, of course, he didn't learn. He learned about the definition, the division, the quality, this and that, training on compassion much later from his teachers. But his life encounter of experience of compassion is from his mother. uh, because his mother, of course, is very well known for being um, uh, highly compassionate, even though they come from a very poor family. Whenever people at that time, because His Holiness birthplace shares border with China, so when the Chinese beggars come, she will always give something to eat, share, even though they have like about 11 children. Uh, so she would still share something with the beggars. Whenever they come, she will never let them go empty-handed. So these are, of course, His Holiness very small that time, like 5 years old, but he observed those things. And of course, he also received so much of his mother's love. And to add something more, His Holiness always say that without mother's love, then we would never be here. Because let's say, a lot of time, okay, uh, um, this may be a little bit hard for some of you listening. The thing is that if you are adopted, that means your mother choose not to. Um, Maybe it's a bit harsh to say that she did not love you, but um, beyond more than the love, more than her love to keep you, she chose something else. So therefore, you were abandoned, and then you were adopted by another mother or father who really love and care for you. So those adoptee, foster parents, foster mother, foster father, they were, you can say, if as kind, as important as your real parents, if not more. So I forgot to add, even though I was lost in thought. So because your mother, okay, you were born only because your mother chose to keep you. If she had used mm, um, different methods to make sure that you are not born, then of course you will not be in this world. So therefore, you being in this world is only because your mother chose to keep you, despite whatever hardship that she may be having. So through her love and through her compassion, you are in this world. So therefore, that's why, um, of course, even though both mother and father are equally important to bring a child to this world, it is only if the mother chooses to keep the boy, keep the girl, keep the child, only then you can come. So therefore, mother is the most important. Mm. So therefore, mother's love. So that's why you need to acknowledge, worship respect, worship. Worship basically means acknowledging their contribution and then doing your best to make them happy, to delight them, to fulfill their wishes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now, okay. Now I'll jump to the next verse. I think. Let me see. Let me read it once more. So make sure that I have not missed any. Um, yeah. And Father. Oh yeah. So by doing that, uh, in this lifetime, you will also gain fame. So gain fame means when you do a good thing, you will become popular, right? So that's what it means. So basically, you are doing the right thing. That's what it actually means. So you will in this lifetime, you will gain fame, become famous, popular. Everybody will. You will become a role model. People will say, "Oh, uh, he or she is taking so good care of their parents, this and that." And of course, if you do not do that, the exact opposite will be said of you. And in later in the future, you will also reap beneficial results because even though your parents are your even if you do something good to your parents, the good deeds will not be cancelled out. If you do something bad to your parents, that is a negative deed. If you do a good deed, good things to your parents, this deed is also accumulated. So the deed is not cancelled out because, oh, it's just family. So if you do anything good for the family, it doesn't count. Only if you do good things to outsiders, strangers, then it becomes a virtue thing. If you do good thing to a family member, it does not count at all. There's no such thing. Whether you do good thing to family member or you're completely stranger, both counts. So by doing good things to your, by worshiping, by respecting, by repaying their kindness, you are engaging in virtuous deed, good deed, good positive karma is being accumulated as well. So therefore, positive karma means positive outcome as well. Mm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now next line. Okay. I'll read in Tibetan. 세다 춤군 직과 준다니 창단 뒤민세라 차바다 메덴 토라가다 루다다 가단 체외 개발 남방싱. uh, Actually it's followed by the uh, next verse as well, the verse number 11. 다좀 수dim 제수 제바에 양라 개보 되다 되나 되다 당되나 소종 되죠 할류 이원 개바 표면 달라 저버기. So verse number 10 and 11 comes together, are packed together, follow each other. Now English, okay. Basically, this is called, okay, I will just read it out. To observe continence on special days. Forsake harming, theft and robbery, sexual misconduct, lying, alcohol, attachment to food at improper times, enjoyment of high seats and beds, and all kinds of songs, dances, and garlands. Verse number 11. If you possess these 8 features, which follows an arhat's morality, then you abide in restoration and purification. So restoration and purification is the name of this practice. In Tibetan, we call it so jong, which means in English, restoration and purification. So you abide in restoration and purification, and you will bestow on men and women the pleasant form of the gods of the desire realm. And yeah. Okay, so this practice is usually known as the, and in Tibetan we call it nyene, nyene. It sounds similar to nyungne because during nyungne we do the nyene as well. I will explain both. And in Sanskrit you call it upavasa, upvasa. Then in regular English terms we call it fasting. We call it yeah, I think we also call it the Mahayana precepts. Okay, usually precept means the vows kept by the monks. This one we call it Mahayana precept, Tekjen Sojong. And also we call it Sojong, which means restore and purify. restore the good deeds, purify the bad deeds. Yeah. So these are the names, these are different names for the practice that we are going to discuss now. So during the Nyungne practice, Nyungne has fasting, and so during Nyungne we do the Nyene as well. We also do the Tekjen Sojong. So it's called Tekjen Sojong, it's called Nyene, all different names. So the little bit difference when we say Mahayana precept, there's a little bit difference because Nyene or the fasting practice, the is actually also done by the non-Mahayana Buddhist as well. Okay, this fasting practice. So it is not exclusive to the Mahayana practice, but normally we call it Mahayana practice because this is very popular among Mahayana Buddhists in Vietnam, in China, in Tibet. So when we add the word term Mahayana, the only difference is the intention. The intention is to do this practice for the sake for the purpose of becoming fully enlightened Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. When you do it in the Hinayana tradition, you are doing it for liberation, samsara, liberation from samsara, what we call inferior nirvana, lower nirvana. In the Mahayana practice, we do it with the Buddhahood, ultimate nirvana in mind. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the actual practice is same. This is Nyene. This is the eight precept we are talking about. Okay, not Nyungne. Nyungne is a little bit more addition now. I will come to that after this. So we are going to discuss Nyene today, right? Nyene is Tibetan word, Nyen and Ne, Nyene, which comes from the Sanskrit word upavasa, upavasa. Upa or Nyen means near, to get close to someone, close. Vasa means to stay or to abide. So abide near to or get closer to something. So get closer to what? Get closer to whatever your goal is. Get closer to Buddhahood, get closer to Nirvana, etc., etc. So Nyine means getting closer or staying closer. So by practicing the fasting and this practice, the Upavasa practice, eight precept, you get closer to your goal, you get closer to your Buddha, Nirvana, whatever it is. Yeah. Nyine means getting close to someone, staying close to something. Nyungne, everybody has heard so many times. So ne is same, right? Nyen ne, nyung ne is same, means abide, stay. Nyung is Tibetan for minimize, to reduce. So basically, during Nyungne, you reduce your actions, you reduce your food intake, speech intake, speech output, food input, everything is being minimized, reduced. So Nyungne means reduction, staying in reduction, staying minimize, like that. Yeah, Nyung means to minimize something. Nyung is a verb. Nyung is a verb. So Nyungne has a few additional things. The first one is Nyungne is exclusive to Mahayana practice, not only Mahayana practice but Vajrayana practice, because it has visualization of deity, etc., mandala, etc. And then you have to do recitation, reciting, chanting, prostration, so many other things as well. And the fasting period is different. The fasting method or the fasting guidelines are a little bit different than regular nyene. So nyene, in order to do nyene, or in order to follow the upavasa, in order to follow the eight precept, you don't have to do nyungne. But in order to do nyungne, you have to do nyene in the morning. When you start it in the morning, you have to do it until the next day. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm going to tell about. Now we are going to discuss the eighth precept. What is nyene? Okay. Now the eighth precept. We call this eighth precept. we call it in Tibetan we call it um, how do you say that in English? Let me think a little bit. Um, uh, time-based observance. Okay, time-based or time-based vows. So the vow, 8 vows. 8 vows you take, it is time-based, meaning it lasts only for one day. So when you have to, you cannot, it does not last more than 24 hours, starting from 4, 5 a.m. this morning. Okay? By tomorrow morning, it expires. You have to take it once again. That's why this is meant for um, the lay people, because monks, monastics, they take the vows for life. So for the lay people who cannot take such vows for life, for years, for months, so you were given the exception to take a vow that is similar to the monk's vow, but only for one day. So it begins at the dawn, early morning, before the sun rises, when you can see the lines on your palm, when you can see the line on your palm without the help of uh, 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 light, of course, electricity. If you use electricity, you can see in the middle of the night even, right? So without the help of electricity, when you are able to barely make out the lines of your palm, that is when it starts. And it lasts for 24 hours. That's it. So it's a time-based vow. It does not go further than that. So that's why it's convenient for lay people to take. Yeah. Now introducing the 8 vow. What are the 8 vows? So that 8 vow, the 4 cardinal vows, which is not taking life. Anyway, I will go through that. So the 8 vows. I think. Did I read the English or did I not read? I think I did, right?
Yeah, yêu thích là.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to that. Yeah. So I will go one by one. First, forsake, abandon, right? Abstain, forsake. Harming, which means to killing. This the first one is killing. Yeah. Second one is theft, which is stealing. Theft and robbery. When you take, when you steal it, or when you rob someone in the broad daylight. Either way, sexual misconduct. So we talked about this earlier. So engaging in sexual activities that is improper. So I explained what is improper already. Yeah. Even that means so okay, now yeah, I will come to this later. Lying, alcohol, yeah, and then attachment to food at improper times. Yeah. Enjoyment of high seat, sitting on a high throne or high place. And then all kinds of entertainment, song, dance, and jewelry, etc. So these are the 8 precepts, eight things to keep at bay, 8 things to abstain from for one day. Now, as I said, we will come to sexual misconduct. It's a wrong translation. So here, when you take it for one day, it is not sexual misconduct that you abstain from, but it's actual any sexual activity you must abstain because it's just for one day. So you cannot
Yeah.
have any sexual activity. Yeah. So during Nyungne practice, one cannot engage in any sexual activity, even with one's partner.
Yeah.
So that's something important to note. I think there are some misunderstanding in the past because of this kind of miswording. Misconduct means improper sex,
Yeah.
right? So proper sex is okay in general, but
Mm.
here it's not misconduct. It's any sexual activity because it's just for one day, so you can do that. Therefore, it is any sexual activity, not sexual misconduct, that you must abstain from. Did you say the nyungne?
Yeah, đúng nè.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
During nyungne? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not misconduct, but it's any activity. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Now I will come to attachment to food at improper times. So improper times means after lunch. So basically, you can have breakfast and lunch. Then after lunch, you cannot have. So it's fasting after midday meal. Yeah. Any meal, any bite-sized meal, anything that you can nibble, anything that you can eat, bite, other than drinking, anything that you can actually munch on after the midday meal is called. I mean, if you have any meal, any munching after the midday meal, then it's taken at improper times. So, it's restricted, not allowed.
Yeah.
And high seat and high bed, that is understandable, right? Basically, the thing is, okay, when you sit on some high throne, high position, this and that, then you become more and more, um, what is that? I keep forgetting that word. Uh,
Arrogant.
Sorry, arrogant. Yes, yes, yes.
Arrogant.
Yeah,
Arrogant.
arrogant. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Mm. That's why no high seat. Yep. Then entertainment, because when you get entertained, then your mind gets carried away, and then you want to munch onto something. You get hungry. Remember when you go to the movies, we want to eat popcorn. When we just have a chit chat with our friends for, get along. Our friends get together, then we just have to munch on something, peanuts, I don't know, this and fruits, whatever. So when we get carried away by this and that, sorry, when we engage in entertainment, we get distracted and our mind is not focused. And then to pass the time, we you know, we couldn't help but to eat something, to munch on something, right? So therefore, no entertainments. And then the last one is no decoration, no, what do you call that? No jewelry, no jewelry, because jewelry, with jewelry, you're getting carried away. You are making yourself more beautiful than what you already are. You are making yourself look something other than what you actually are, which is a fallacy, which is illusion. You don't, you are not that attractive. I'm not saying to the, just to the females, but male also. So when you do too much makeup or too much jewelry or maybe too much designer clothing, this and that, you are making yourself appear more than what you actually are, which is a form of fallacy, deceitful, lying. Yeah, that's why for one day you have to abstain from doing that. So these 8 precepts are taken by a novice monk. When you become a fresh monk, then they take this, and they usually keep this eight vows. That is the basis for all the vows, all the monastic vows, and then you take that. So for a lay people, you take that for just one day, and then you know, like that. So okay, now I'm going to the next verse. Okay, the verse number 11. So by following that, if you possess these 8 features which follows an arhat's morality, then you abide in the restaurant and purification. So this is called the arhat's morality. So morality here is not necessarily a right translation. So it's the arhat's moral precept. Precept means vow. So the actual wording in Tibetan, in the original wording is moral ethics. Okay, moral precepts. So to simplify, you can call it a discipline, Arhat's discipline. So the reason this 8 precept is known as Arhat's discipline is because by following this discipline, one will reach Arahat. So that's why it's called Arahat's discipline. Yeah. So the proper translation would be moral precept. Okay, not morality. Sultan.
Yeah.
And by doing so, one will be okay in the long run. You will be able to have achieve arahats, arahathood. You will be able to attain arahat in the short run, or basically in the immediate next life. If you follow this, then you will be able to achieve the pleasant form of the uh, gods, basically angels, of the gods of the desire realm. So there is the desire realm, form realm, and the formless realm. So the gods in the desire realm are very, of course, as the name says, it's very desirous, very beautiful, very aesthetically appealing forms. So by by um, by keeping those precepts, by keeping the Mahayana precept, by keeping the Nyene vows, one will be able to achieve uh, the aesthetic beauty of a god of the desire realm in the short
Yeah.
run. Long
Yeah.
run, Arahat. I'm opening up for questions now, and
Yeah.
I'll conclude
Bây
after. Let me add another thing. Now there's a slight difference between the Nyungne and Nyenne vows or Nyungne. So another one thing is that the duration of the sorry, as I said, the method are different, is because when you take the Nyungne comes in a set. Nyungne comes in a set. So Nyune always has to be taken for 2 days, right? The first day, I think most of you are already familiar. Nyungne, you have to take the first day, everything else is same, except mm, um, the first day, you don't eat after midday. No, no food, no solid food after midday meals, right? On the second day, after on the second day from onwards, you don't take any food, and also you don't take water. Also, you keep silent. So silence is something that is not there in the nyene. When you take nyene, you can take as much liquid as you want, and you don't have to keep silent. But for nyungne, on the second day, you cannot take liquid, you cannot do chit chat. So that is the difference between nyungne and nyene. Nyene is taken every day. So every morning, every next morning, it expires. Yeah. So in practical terms, you can say Nyene lasts for 24 hours, and Nyungne, because it's a set, lasts for 48 hours. And additionally, Nyungne has silence, and Nyungne has no solid food after midday. But you can take them anytime. So the first day of the month, the second day of the month, the end of the month, middle of the month, there is no particular day. But of course, people choose if you take it on the special occasions like the full moon day or a Buddha's birthday, this and that. Of course, there's more benefit. But in general, there's no time restrictions. You can take it any day, any day of the month. Yeah. Okay, now I would like to conclude here. So for today, this session I
Yeah.
would like to conclude here.
Yeah.
And so because it's the start of the new year, so maybe just speak a few words. Not because it's not necessarily because Tibetan New Year, as you know, I'm not much of this kind of festivities. Okay, Tibetan New Year, Western New Year, I don't know, Lunar New Year. I don't really, um, not very interested. But why I'm saying this during the Tibetan New Year is because Tibetan New Year is actually based on the Buddha's miracle day. So the Buddha's miracle day is starts. So this story goes back to the Buddha's time when he was in a place called Vaishali, and he was challenged by non-Buddhist philosopher, great masters, actually six of them, great masters. And then because Gautama Buddha came out of nowhere, and then he's challenging the long tradition Brahmanical order. So when I say Brahmanical order, I'm talking about caste system, low caste, high caste, this and that. So Buddha challenged that. He said, anyone who becomes my student, monastics, you come from low caste, high caste, doesn't matter. The senior one sits above. Even the king has to kneel before the monk. The monk may belong to a low caste, doesn't matter. And this is a huge challenge to millennia tradition, thousands of years of tradition, custom that has been going in India. So of course, the Brahmin philosophers, Panditas are angry. They challenge the Buddha. Okay, so it's called the Great Debate or the Great Challenge, and it starts on the so Tibetan New Year is based on the Buddha's first miracle day. Okay, uh, so when we adopted Buddhism, we sort of decided that Buddha's miracle. We will start our New Year on the Buddha's miracle day. So it goes on for 15 days. Yeah. So earlier I said Vaishali. That is my mistake. I apologize. The actual name is I mixed up. Actual name is Sharvasti. Okay, Sarvasti, and that is the place where Buddha stayed for the most number of years. So longest time Buddha spent was in Sharvasti, because every time when the monks have the 2 month uh, rainy season retreat, the monsoon retreat, Buddha was always in Sharvasti, no matter where he was any other time of part of the year. During the monsoon season, rainy season, he's always here. And more than that, he comes here often. There's a long story after behind that. But anyways, he stays in Sharvasti. So that place, the non-Buddhist challenged Buddha in Sharvasti. Okay, and so from the first day of the Tibetan New Year, calendar New Year, until the 15th day, uh, Buddha was challenged by the by the by the six philosophers, uh, like that. So from the eighth day onwards, Buddha started responding to them from the eighth day of the lunar calendar. And that's why in our tradition, in the Sera monastery, or basically in all Gelugpa monastery, we have the Gelug Great Mönlam Festival or the prayer festival. So from the 8th to the 15th, we usually have prayer session going on, a very lengthy prayer session going on. These are the days when Buddha responded to the debates thrown that were hurled at the Buddha, all the accusations, right? Buddha, because Buddha was they were blaming the Buddha for going against all the ancestral master, this and that. Because also Buddha also said that the Ganga, which is considered the holiest of the holy river in the Hindu mythology, by dipping in the Ganga river, all your sins will be cleansed. And Buddha said, how is that possible? By cleaning your body, your mind will not become clear. Anyway, so many things like that. So from the eighth day onwards, Buddha how do you call this thing? Responded, and then he uh, um, sort of vanquished them one by one. First through debate, and once they lost the debate, um, um, they were they're embarrassed. Of course, they have like thousands of followers themselves, and so they challenged Buddha to magical duel, meaning doing like black magic, this and that. And then Buddha manifested miraculous power to defeat them. So when they were displaying ordinary um, argumentative, rational debates, Buddha also returned the same sort of uh, uh, response. But when they challenged the Buddha to magic and this and that, Buddha also responded through his miraculous power. Until then, he never showed miraculous power. So like that. My point here is that the Losar is important because Losar is not just because of Tibetan New Year, but because it aligns with the Buddha's miraculous sort of achievement or activities. So therefore, it's a very good time for you, all of us, to focus internally, to practice as much as we can, uh, do nyene, or do other practices as much as we can. So I would like to bring that to everybody's attention.
Yeah.
So, but still, all the New Year wishes, Losar wishes that you have sent me, shared with me, many of you sent me individually, and many of you wanted to tell me. So I really acknowledge that. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I still celebrate Losar. I'm not that boring. So, um, I just jokes aside, I really appreciate that. Okay. And then I want to, yeah. So, and then I think we are beginning a new year to study more. And then up until now, we have studied so much, and then we have practiced and put it so much effort into the Dharma, which all of us, okay, not just me, not just you, but every one of us should uh, rejoice, appreciate one's own achievement, one's own contribution. Yeah. So there's two questions. I will go very quickly. The first question is, my parents are not Buddhist, so how do I convince them to believe in Buddha's teaching? Okay, I will answer that one first. Faith, love, compassion, these things, you cannot force someone to do so. If you cannot force someone, but you can make someone see reason and then follow, right? Especially with spirituality. So I suggest that you familiarize them with the Buddha's life stories, especially uh, I would I would like to share one story. Maybe you can share that story with your parents. Maybe you're already familiar with this story, but there was one lady, one girl. So she just has a uh, what's the word for that in English? Anyway, so basically, her newborn child, just died. Uh, so her newborn child just died, and she went to everyone. Nobody can help. Nobody can revive the life. And then finally, someone said, "Okay, maybe go to the Buddha. He may have some, he may do some magic thing for you." And then she went to the Buddha, and Buddha didn't say, didn't tell her, "Okay, this is impossible." He never said that. First, uh, okay, let's do this. That's what Buddha said. Let's do this. So bring me a grain of rice. And the lady was so much excited. Her tears dried up, and she was ready to do something. And then when she was about to leave the Buddha's place, Buddha said, "Wait, wait, wait! I need you to bring me a grain of rice from a family that has never seen death at all." And in her excitement to revive the life of her newborn child, she said, "Yeah, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, yeah, sure, 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 sure." And then she went, and then she went to every family. They eagerly give her rice, bowl of rice. But then she was like, "Wait a minute. Has there been any death in your family?" "Yes, yes, our grandfather died. Yeah, our grandmother died. And our great aunt died. My son died. My So basically, every family in the town, someone has died. And somehow she came to the understanding, it dawned upon her, realization that death is not something that happens only to her family or to her. It happens to everybody. uh, this, irrespective of what age, how healthy, what position, doesn't matter. And somehow she was able to live with the fact that, she was basically able to let go of her son's passing. And later, of course, she Kasadila. Renunciation, renounce the life, renounce the worldly life, and become a nun. So this is just one story. So that kind of story, there's nothing to do with faith. Buddha didn't use any faith here, any belief system. There's no blind faith here. Pure logic, pure rationality. Buddha tells you to become your own master. What better approach than this is there for someone who doesn't want to believe in any higher power? If you don't want to believe in any higher, because people don't believe in Buddhism or any religion because they don't believe in a higher power, right? If you don't believe in a higher power, that means you are the highest power. So Buddha tells you to become your own master. What best, what better advice is there than that for someone who doesn't believe in any higher power? Buddha always used logic. Buddha always used reasoning. And reason is the most important factor to believe in something. Even for if you want to tell someone, let's just say that if you want to tell someone, don't believe in something, you have to use reason. Don't believe in this and that because. If you want to tell reason is nothing, faith is more important, you still have to use reason. Okay, faith is nothing. Sorry, reason. I don't use reason here. This is Dharma. For Dharma, you have to use faith. Why? Blah, 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 because. So in order to denounce reason, you have to use reasoning. In order to say you must not believe in any belief system, you have to use reasoning. Anything to do with or without reasoning, you have to use reasoning. And Buddha always used reasoning. He never says, I'm the best. I am the, oh, he never said, I'm God. He said, I'm awakened. Basically, he said, I've woken up. You guys are still sleeping. Wake up. That's what he was saying. So what more reason you need to follow Buddha? Okay. And another question there was, it's about how to make mandala using rice. I will share that as a video clip later on the group chat. Yeah, thank you. Dedication, please. Gewa di nyurdo dan lama zangye drukyura nen zhowa je kya ma luen bang ge ge sa la ge bara jo chan jo sem jo rembo che ma ye ba nam ge gyuru ke ba nya ba me bara yang kone gondo be bara sho mi me zewe de je re zen je me gembe wangbo jambe yang debo ma lue zhomze sangwen kanje kebe zuyen zonga ba lao san chabe shabla so wan de tenbe ning zenbe be nga shin naman do yu gun la changchu lao san che ye jamze cho gun do jenge zho den tam wan de. Okay, I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche La. Happy
Thank you
Losar,
so much.
Rinpoche La.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hung, and everybody here. Thank you so much for your attention, for your interest, and wish you all a very best year. Happy Losar. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche La.
Income. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. How do I switch off this?